Good morning, guys. Another difficult to wake up morning for me. Haven't done enough coffee yet. Hey, Game Room, welcome. Pac-Man, welcome. So, once again, I'm not sold on exactly what we're going to work on today. What I do know is that I want to put out the official 6.7 release tomorrow. And we already have the translations coming in for 6.7, so I don't want to make any major changes. But there are a few fixes to make. I think I might go through Bitbucket, and it'll probably be primarily a bug fix day today to prep for the release tomorrow. Good morning, Teddy, JK, Shades, welcome. Martin, K Money, welcome. Eduger 10, welcome, my friend. BRB, cool. Yeah, hey guys. Alright, so I'm pulling up Bitbucket here. I'm going to take a look at some of the bug tickets. I have a to-do list over here with some things, but I also want to take a look at the latest bug tickets and see what's coming in recently, bugs-wise. So I'm going to filter to bugs, see what's the newest. When using jump letters in Big Box, it often gets stuck in the alphabet menu, with no way to back out or exit the app without alt-tabbing out of it to close it. Really? That's weird. It gets stuck in there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to replicate that, but I'll give it a shot. Maybe that's a new issue. It looks like he's in his list of games. Give it a shot. Hey, Grandpa. Welcome. I think I might be coming down with a bug, unfortunately. So I'm not sure how my voice is going to last up here. We'll see. Hopefully not, but who knows. All right. So, I've got a custom view on right now because I was just recording those tutorials yesterday. How'd you guys like those tutorials? Anybody watch those tutorials on custom themes? Alright, so my views, go back to the default theme. Okay. And then he was using the standard text view. And he was saying it would get stuck in the letters. Huh. Thanks, BRB. I haven't either, so I'm confused on this one. Thank you, Squirrel. Welcome. Only sometimes taping left or one right jumps 2 letters instead of one. Tapping left. Really? Okay. That's interesting. Thank you, Pac-Man. That's good to know. Straightforward. Thank you, Game Room. Good to know. Martin, yeah, I should unlock it. You gotta realize that sometimes I just don't make the best decisions. The thing is, I use my I keep trying to get away from using my production instance of BigBox and LaunchBox for development, but I always go back to just doing that, and that's the problem. Is my arcade cabinet is locked, so my kids can't mess anything up. But I use the same instance synced, and so that's what happens. Okay, K Money. Well, let me know, K Money, anybody else, like what I can do to help make that process easier. And then also any questions you guys have. I'm taking. I want to know what you guys want to know how to do next, so I can make a tutorial on what to do next, basically. So, JK, this issue it's a Bitbucket ticket, and I don't have many details from the guy who put the ticket in. He doesn't give us anything other than the fact that it's just getting stuck. And I don't really have any idea what that means, but I'm not having any luck replicating it, so I think we're just going to have to move on from this one. More custom themes in the future. Yeah, me too, BRB. All right, thank you guys. Well, I will give up on this. I don't really know. We'll go back to this ticket. Thank you, Damien. I'm having trouble reproducing it, though. Can you give me as many details as possible? Your version of Windows, your version of Big Box. That's one thing that's frustrating about Bitbucket is when people put in tickets, I specifically ask for all these things when they first put them in, and nobody reads it and nobody gives me those details. But it is what it is. Can you give me as many details as possible? Your version of Windows, your version of Big Box, which video playback engine you're using, etc. No big deal, Ali. We haven't gotten very far in yet. Welcome. Awesome, K Money. All right. This error came up when I enabled the sidebar option, show counts. Interesting. Okay. I haven't tested that in ages, so I guess I better do that. So it's happening in Paint on the sidebar control on Paint. Guess let's just load up LaunchBox here and see if we can reproduce it. Sidebar, show counts. Of course, it's not going to be easy to reproduce. Hmm. Well, I don't know. You can take a look at the code and see if we can figure out what's doing it. But other than that, I don't know. LaunchBox controls. This is big box. Sidebar control on paint. Yeah, and of course, naturally, it's a pretty extensive method. So finding where the null reference is going to be a pain. Setting colors. I don't think any of that's going to be an issue. This.values could be null. Oh, we already checked for that right there. Scroll bar could be null potentially. Type tool strip. Oops. I suppose it could be that for some reason that's a problem, but I doubt it. Yeah, I don't know. We have more scroll bar stuff to deal with. All right. Well, hopefully we found it and covered it. That's all I can figure. I think it's probably a threading issue of some sort. So it's only happening in certain odd circumstances. So it's going to be really hard to reproduce. But hopefully we've got that fixed. Since we can't reproduce it, there's not a whole lot else we can do. Thank you, Anonymous. Hoping this is fixed for the next beta. I'm just going to resolve it because I don't have any other way to test it. And it'll come up again if it's not fixed. Required fields. Hey DJ Quad, welcome. What do you mean by required fields? I'm probably behind on these comments, guys, sorry. It would be great if the sidebar could refresh after deleting ROM's platforms. Yeah, it used to, Martin, and then I did a bunch of things to improve performance, and that's one thing that I sacrificed. So there's a while back it used to like refresh everything whenever you did anything, and it was really slow. So I really helped the performance by you know, not having it automatically update at the drop of a hat. Yeah, yeah. Hey Shades, Jazz Phone, welcome. All right. That doesn't mean we can't improve it though. We could. I'm sure there's some way to figure out and do it quickly. All right, so done with that one. The metadata and images wizard available under tools seems to not work properly. After choosing the fields to update for every game, LaunchBox updates each game but no image is added. However, when updated one by one, the requested images are available. Ali, you're here. Can you explain that to me? What on earth is going on here? That doesn't make sense to me. LaunchBox updates each game, but no image is added. Well, obviously images are being added. Unless this is a new thing. Oh, for the tickets. Sure. Well, maybe. I haven't looked into that. That's a good question. Potentially. Bitbucket is pretty restrictive as far as what all you can do. All right, guys. So help me replicate it. How do I replicate that issue? Because let me run a debug version here. We'll take a look at this. This is a problem, and I keep hearing about this, but I can't ever seem to replicate it. So this is probably one we should really work on. If you scrape several games at once for new images, it does not always download new images. Sure. All right. Well, let's talk about how it's supposed to work here first. So, and I'm not sure if this is the issue or not. Let me change the language here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my XML from my other LaunchBox and use that one instead of what we got in there right now. Oh, crap. There it is. All right. So we probably won't have any images, but we'll have all the games from my other installation. All right. Does not always download the images. If you edit Yeah, let's show the images that it did not scrape. Sure. So if I want to download the 3D image, for example, if I mark it all, it starts downloading, but some is missed. If I look at that one by one, many have stuff that wasn't downloaded. Interesting. So, could it be possible, guys, that that's because there was already an existing image in that category on that game? Because it doesn't download any more images. So, for example, we go through the wizard. Let's select all our something small. Let's go to Nintendo Wii, and we go to download metadata and images. We go through the wizard here. Deleted the whole image library, and it's done this. Okay. All right. So, but right here, so one thing that this is obviously important to this problem potentially, because you can say replace all existing metadata, which is going to basically re-download everything. Yes, but do not replace any existing fields. What that will do for images is it will only download images for image types that are empty. So for example, if you have a front box art, it's not going to download any more front box arts. If you say this, it's just not going to do anything for games that are already attached to the LaunchBox Games Database ID. So, but this is the probably the thing that people use most commonly when updating games. But if you guys are emptying out your entire image libraries and it's happening, all right, well, let's give this a shot. Take it easy, Martin. Jazz Phone, what about fan art? Yeah, it's not ideal, the fact that it doesn't download any more images once you already have some of that type in your collection. But the trick is I don't have anything right now in there to identify to match images, basically. I can't tell whether an image that I'm downloading is the same image that has already been downloaded when we're updating games. That's the biggest trick. So that's the problem there. But it sounds like we might have a bug that I'm not aware of. Let's try it for these and go through some games and see what we get. Yeah, that changes the platforms when you overwrite the metadata. Yes, that makes sense. That's on my list. It's actually on my short list here in Visual Studio. Obviously, this is pretty important to fix, though, because this function is crucial. I'm not sure why it's happening sometimes and not others and stuff like that. That's strange. Can anybody tell me what platforms that it's happened on? I assume it happens on all platforms, but just in case it's only a single platform. What platform did that last happen for you, guys? Sure. Okay. And any word on whether it's happening for both EmuMovies images and LaunchBox Games Database images? Or is it only EmuMovies? Anybody have any idea? PS2 getting the 3D box. Okay. So that would be EmuMovies, or it could be LaunchBox Games Database too. So we have 8 images here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we have all of these, but some of these aren't going to download duplicates. So what it's going to do by default, because we didn't prioritize EmuMovies, it's going to grab these 7 images and then grab the 3D box, and that's it, because that's the only one that it's really missing. So 8 is correct for this one. That's the other thing, is if your game already has an image in that category, it won't go download another one from EmuMovies. So that could be part of it too. Yeah, Circo actually removed all of the image download limits completely. So it's wide open now. The only thing that you pay for now with the premium EmuMovies subscription is videos. Everything else is wide open and free forever, which is awesome. So I've got 4 images here. And then it should download the snap and the 3D box. So that's 6 images ultimately. And yeah, and I've got 6 images. Guess we'll keep going. How often does it happen, guys? Does it happen every single time you download metadata and images, or does it only happen every once in a while? 10 images. So we got 9 images there, and then the 3D box. And that's it. So that's 10. 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, and the 3D box. So that's 12. Yeah. Huh. You know what, though? Another possibility. Oh, so I think the issue for me was not replacing metadata to scrape for new images. Knowing that if an image already exists in the category that it will not download anymore helps. Okay, that's good. Ali, not sure I have ran all systems at this point, but now when looking at games out a 3D box, it turns out many had them. Okay. So 3D boxes existed, but weren't being downloaded. One thing, that's probably EmuMovies. Alright, so it could be that we have a more lenient search with the singular search for EmuMovies than with the batch search. And that is implemented by their API. And I think I've actually looked into that before. And there wasn't anything I could do about that because that was their API. So basically, I need to look at. I think I'm understanding where this is going. Ultimately, these are issues with the EmuMovies API and their batch search. And I have the code to dive into their API a little bit more, so I think I might just need to do that and see if I can fix some of these title matching issues. Because what's going on is they're their batch search. In other words, we use their batch search to allow you to search lots of them at once when we do the massive imports and updates. And it uses a separate algorithm when you do the singular one. And I think what's happening is there's better title matching going on when you do the single search than when you do the batch search for the EmuMovies stuff. So if we can confirm that it's EmuMovies only that's causing the problem, then I'm almost positive that's what's going on. Otherwise, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's related to that EmuMovies API batch versus singular search stuff. Because what's happening is some games are named exactly in EmuMovies the same way as you have in your collection, and other times they're not. When I was doing like populating NES platforms, let's go through an example here. NES. Let's just do the first however many games here. And we'll be able to see this relatively easily, I think. Actually, we might be able to see with Wii. As you notice, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword doesn't have the 3D box art. So let's edit that one. We've got all these images here. And if I go to download images media, yeah, it just doesn't have the 3D box available from EmuMovies for that, apparently. You know, one thing I have found though, that's irritating a little bit. Let's try this. Watch what I'm doing with the title here. Legend of Zelda, comma the Skyward Sword. Try this again. EmuMovies. You see that? You see what just happened here? I changed the title from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword to Legend of Zelda, comma the Skyward Sword. And I learned to do that because oftentimes the EmuMovies images are named like this, and the EmuMovies search engine, unfortunately, isn't smart enough to be able to handle it. And it's irritating because it's not consistent in between, even on the same platform. So sometimes you'll have games that have the prefix like that, and sometimes you'll have games that don't, even on the same platform. So when I was going through like NES and pulling down all my 3D boxes or my carts and all that stuff, you run into this issue. So this is you know, one thing. So I kind of want to get into the EmuMovies search engine and start working on some of this stuff eventually, so that the EmuMovies title matching is better. Because right now it's kind of a problem with stuff like that. It doesn't really work that great. Our LaunchBox games database search engine's much better. So, and I have the code for a lot of that stuff. I can't do everything because I don't have the server-side code. I only have the local code. But that's something worth doing, I think. But yeah, for now, I'm going to call this stuff issues with the EmuMovies search API, because it sounds like to me it sounds like this is all EmuMovies specific. Naming conventions, yeah. Yeah, it's the reason why people name games this way is to help with ordering. So if you don't have to have any custom ordering. If you want to start the game under L, because it is the legend, you would skip the. You wouldn't put it under T. You'd put it under L. And doing it this way will automatically sort it in the right spot in your list, which is why people do it this way. But yeah, I hate when people use that naming convention. But yes, that's the issue. I'm almost positive, guys, that's the issue. So, and let me know if you know, anybody can prove that it's happening with the LaunchBox games database. and not EmuMovies, but I'm almost positive it's specific to EmuMovies. So we'll move on from that for now. Let's put some comments in here. I'm going to edit this. EmuMovies search engine needs better title matching for both. Better title matching is needed for both. Let's put in some more comments. Pretty sure this issue is specific to EmuMovies. The singular EmuMovies API search returns better results than the batch method. Also, there are issues where some media are named differently and not returned, such as Legend of Zelda The Skyward Sword versus The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Alright, and this isn't a bug, it's an enhancement. I'm going to mark it major. There we go. Okay. Worldwide Librarian Convention. From that other front end. But it doesn't stiffless. That's what's interesting here. So for example, with EmuMovies, you're looking at this game. If I leave the title The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword and I go to download images media, EmuMovies will tell me that there are 3 images that are available for the game, which means in EmuMovie these are named The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And then you go in and change it, and you get different media that's available. So what that means is some media is named the Hyperspin way, and some media is named this way. So it's not even possible, the way it works right now, it's not even possible to get all the media with any particular name, which is really kind of problematic. So I should probably tell Circo about that problem so he knows about it and he can hopefully get it fixed. Really, the issue is that the file names of the actual media, I'm sure, because they're not matching up. But ideally, instead of just fixing the file names for all the media, because that's a nightmare, the API would just be smarter and be able to handle that scenario. But that comma the issue is one of the most common issues that I found when I'm going through and, for example, in my and I'm scraping my entire NES library and then switching up my image types and going through all the various image types and figuring out what's missing and all that stuff. It's almost that comma the issue is the biggest issue that we're running into right now as far as not discovering games. So that's enough on that topic. We'll keep going on more tickets here. Hey Sid, welcome. Melmz, welcome. What is LaunchBox? LaunchBox is a gaming front end basically. It lets you it shows you all the games on your system and lets you launch them easily and sort them and all that stuff. Some media is submitted directly to EmuMovies. However, the movies and boxes should all follow the same naming convention. It's annoying, I know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame EmuMovies though. I mean, it's a big job. It's hard. It's a hard job to get everything in there. It's not simple. So I just think we need to improve the API is all. Really, more than anything. All right. Slow kill of LaunchBox app when update. LaunchBox takes a lot to kill when update. Is needed to improve the unload of the app when update to avoid error messages when updating. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Really, the issue is that we need a separate exe that I can launch to wait until LaunchBox is exited before launching the setup. It's complicated. Yeah, a slight delay in the updater. Sure, that might help, but the thing is, like, if I put a delay and just did a delay, it's still going to happen every once in a while because somebody's system is going to be slow, and then it's going to pop up. So really, a better solution is to use a separate exe, but that's not a quick job, and so I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm not going to do that right now. This one baffles me. I downloaded the latest version of 6.6 on Windows 10. However, now I'm unable to add new platforms. When I select the platform, it doesn't auto-populate the developer info, etc., nor does it add the platform. Anybody have any idea what that means? Is this happening to anybody else? When I select a platform, it doesn't auto-populate the developer info, etc., nor does it add the platform. I guess that would be in Manage Platforms. So we can load that up. DOS 76, what are you talking about? On error, count to 5 and hit enter. I'm confused, man. I'm getting screen flickering, stream issue, no flickering. Yeah, I think some of the issues with the stream guys are just because we're using a pretty stupid high bit rate so that everybody can see my code. Try refreshing, Ali. So manage platforms. Thank you, BRB. That's good to know. He's saying he can't add new platforms. So basically, I don't really understand. It's not supposed to automatically populate that stuff, except it does when you add. I don't know. So what's a platform that I don't have here? Let's Sega. That I know I have details on. I'm losing my mind. Sega Master System. Scrape S Sega Master System. Adds the platform. We got the images. We don't have details for all this stuff. That's true, I suppose. So maybe it should on that, although I don't care about that much. Usually when you add a platform, you do it via import, and that's where the details come in. Thank you, Stifilus. I'm not sure if I saw that or not. I'll take a look. All right. Private message. Stifilus, you meant a private message on the forums? PM on the forums? Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's experiencing this, I guess. We'll come back to this one. I don't have any idea what's going on. I don't think it's... Okay. Thank you, Stifilus. Import arcade platforms other than arcade fails to import all games. Yes, this is an issue I know about. When you use a non-MAME arcade platform, it doesn't find all the games. And I'm guessing it's because of our metadata that we're just missing some games in the metadata. because it's mainly MAME metadata. I think we just need to update the metadata for this. I think that's the issue. Sega Model 3 imports 37 of 40 games. Yeah. So we're not going to tackle that one today, but yeah, I'm aware of that. Oh yeah, this is the issue where you can't download a video when the video is loaded in the background, and that's kind of a major issue. I keep getting this a lot, so this is probably pretty important for us to solve. Oh, I get it, DOS. Okay. On error, count to 5 and hit enter. I get you. I get you. So the only issue with that is I'm using, of course, automated setup solutions. And I'm not sure if I have access to that particular logic. So that's the trick. I have to figure out if I can even configure it to do that. And I don't think I can, unfortunately. I'm using an awesome setup program, but trying to remember what it's called here. It's called InnoSetup, which gives me a lot of flexibility, but I'm not sure if InnoSetup will do that in particular. All right, so let's get this fixed. So the issue is, do I have play videos turned off or something? You know what? It could be because I'm in a debug session. I've had that issue before. Where do I even put there's videos. Change it to VLC. I think Windows Media Player just has problems only when I'm in a debug session for some reason. In other words, only when I'm running it from Visual Studio. It's a DLL issue of some sort. That isn't important to solve because nobody sees that but me. Or not. Nope, there it is. Alright, so the issue is that when I edit a game, the video is still loaded over here but paused. So the way we would solve this, and then when we try and you know replace the video, it throws an error because this file's in use. So the way we would solve it is when we edit a game, we would just completely stop the video, ultimately, and figure out how to detach it. So in theory, this should be relatively simple to solve. But let's go ahead and reproduce the error here so we can see it before we do anything else. So I'm going to uncheck everything except for the video, and then when we hit download, we should be prompted. It said the video file for this game will be overwritten. Would you like to continue? I'll click yes, and here's the error. Cannot access the file because it's being used by another process. Because obviously it's paused in the VLC player. So that's a common. I keep getting that bug over and over again. So that's something we should focus on. It might be a pain in the butt to fix. It might not be. We'll see. Let's hope not. If we go into our main form, which is the main LaunchBox window, and let's search for edit game. This is our edit game method. We already, you see this temporarily disable game art. We already do that to solve the same problem with the game art. I'm going to go to that method. Oh, that's abstract. This is in the games control, apparently. I see. Okay, yeah, I see. So we can't do that in that method because we're not in the games control. But right here next to it, we need to stop the video and remove that reference to that video file. So let's take a look at controls. This is in the game details control right here. The game details control has VLC video player and video player, which is Windows Media Player. We have methods. Yeah, we have a method called stop video already. But this I'm not sure if that really truly stops it. It looks like it does, because it's basically setting the URL to nothing here, and here we're calling actually stop. So in theory, that'll work. Let's give it a shot. Might be this easy. So we say this dot game details control dot stop video. And just in case game details control is null or something, we'll try that. Hey Emmy, welcome. Alright, so then let's try this again. So we'll edit Mario Kart Wii. Yeah, the video disappears over here. That's a good sign. Download images and media. So uncheck everything other than the video. Download. Yes, we want to overwrite it. There it is. That was easier to solve than I expected. That's good. It's not going to show back up when you're done, but to be honest, I don't really care. It's not really that big of a deal. Although we should test this with Windows Media Player as well. But I'm going to have to do that outside of my debug session, obviously. So let's close this one out, and I'll load up my standard, my regular installation. Hey, David. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about flickering, unfortunately, other than to reduce the bit rate and the quality of the stream, which is something we could possibly do. Okay, make sure we're on Windows Media Player here. I think we are. Go into videos. Yep, Windows Media Player. Edit this guy. Yep, it disappears. Download. David. Somebody could type and fill him in. All right. Video MP4. Download. Yes, overwrite it. Yay! Bug fixed. And this is one we should notify people that I fixed, because I know a lot of people were irritated about that. Resources. Change log. Fixed. Videos could not be downloaded or replaced when they were selected and paused in the sidebar, in the game details. Sidebar was throwing an error. Cool. This has been fixed for the next beta. Hey, Brock. Good to hear. All right. Wikipedia bugs from Brad. Updated a few games. One game was previously associated with Wikipedia. The update also got associated with the LaunchBox Games database ID. It's sorted by ID. I think we might have some issues when associating with Wikipedia, but this is going to be really confusing. So I don't feel like working on that one right now. Skip. I'm going to pull all the rest of these up and see what else we can fix. Alright, so apparently what I get from this is that zoom in and zoom out are not working properly for whatever reason. The slider works, but this doesn't, is my impression on this ticket. Let's test that. Hey, Vissy, welcome. Bug fixes, Vissy. Lots of bug fixes. We're trying to prep for the 6.7 release tomorrow. Alright, so I'm small right now, obviously. Zoom out isn't going to do anything. Zoom in, zoom out. Ah, it doesn't work. He's right. No kidding. It ain't working. What the crap? How did that happen? Alright, well, that's should be relatively easy to fix. Let's fix it. Hopefully we don't run into RAM issues in Visual Studio. Okay, view, zoom out. If this.trackbar.value is greater than 0, this.trackbar.value minus resize games. I wonder what is trackbar.minimum? I'm streaming, guys. What do you need? That's the issue. See how the minimum is -5? Well, there's your problem. This.trackbar.minimum. Easy fix. That'll do it. Intergram. How do you go normally? Write terribly written code, then clean it into a nice object front-end structure? Or plan everything at first, then deal with changes? Well, probably a combination of that. I don't think anybody does either of those things absolutely. You never get anything done if you try to plan everything out all the time. But yeah, I do try and plan things out as best I possibly can. I do end up doing a lot of restructuring in my coding. So thankfully, Visual Studio these days, C# will let you pretty easily restructure your code. For example, if you have the wrong name for a variable, it's very, very easy to change that everywhere in your code. And moving things around, moving namespaces, moving things to different classes, all that stuff is pretty easy to do in Visual Studio these days. So restructuring really helps. I try. I don't know. It's always a combination. And a lot of the time it depends on how fast I'm trying to get something done too, to be honest. But yeah, I don't like getting bit because I coded something crappily. So I try to avoid that as much as I possibly can. I'll try the hotkey shades. Sure. I think that does work. But if the hotkey wouldn't have worked though, because of that issue that I had in the code. But it'll work now. Okay, so view zoom out. There it is. View zoom out. View zoom out. Okay, and then that's as far as it will go. And then zooming in. I'll try the hotkeys. This is zoom in and then zoom out. Yep, we're good to go now. I wonder how long that bug has been there. That's kind of crazy. That's probably been there a long time, to be honest. Nobody's ever reported that because nobody uses these zoom in and zoom out things here. Everybody uses the slider down here. That makes sense. All right. Let me update this ticket. Resolve. This has been fixed for the next beta later today. Awesome, Integram. Good to have you. Are you in school for development, or are you teaching yourself development, or what? What do you got going on? Or have you been on the job for a while and you're just curious about my strategy there? Default emulator function is broken for me. This is another one I keep getting, and I'm having trouble reproducing. So maybe you guys can help me with this one. For example, my arcade Capcom Play System platform is associated with RetroArch. But if I try to load a CPS ROM, LaunchBox is trying to open the ROM with RetroArch. Oh, okay, so it's using a different command line. So he has Arcade Capcom Play System, and his platform is Arcade Capcom Play System. So it should be loading this one right here. That's good. Good to know. Okay. I thought I fixed this issue. It could be that this was the official release, but we'll test it and make sure it's fixed. Let's give it a shot. Hey, OPAC, welcome. JK. Let's pull up that article here. Forum post. Computer engineering final year. Cool. Interning for mobile development these days, was still a fan of C# and enjoy watching good already written code rather than fighting my way with C# codes over here. Sure. That sounds like an exciting time, though. That's awesome. You've got that internship position is good stuff, man. Congrats on that. A lot of people are having trouble landing intern positions and then jobs after school, as you know. But that's awesome that you've landed that. Maybe you can avoid having to do a job search and just be hired on. I had when I got out of school, I had my internship turned into a full-time position, so that was really nice. So let's take a look at this article here. Oh, so this is just for a single game changing the, yeah. Yeah, I remember. I've read through this whole thing. I think what I'm going to do is just test this. So let's load up. Um, Load up our debug copy. You have a feature read manuals inside the application itself. When you read, it's not separated pages, but looks like a manual. So when you go to the next page, it's animated like a page being turned. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense, Vissy. And we have a ticket for that as far as reading manuals inside of Bitbox. That's a ticket. Zombiever's post. Yeah, his nice big long tutorial here. So yeah, it's separate emulators for each core. That makes sense. But this was solving the issue of um, using a different emulator for different games, which is helpful. But that's not actually the issue that we're dealing with here. The issue is he's saying, if I can find it again, he's saying when you use scrape as, and only when you use scrape as, it's not pulling up the right platform for the emulator, I guess. He's saying it's pulling up MAME instead of this guy. So that would mean that it's defaulting it to the arcade platform instead of arcade Capcom Play System. And it should be using arcade Capcom Play System. And I thought I had already solved that, but maybe not. No worries, JK. I appreciate it nonetheless. So, best way to test this, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I think we'll go in and we'll jack something up. So first off, let's edit 1941 counterattack, and let's change the platform here to custom platform. Something stupid. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now we have custom platform over here. And then if I go to my manage platforms, custom platform, and make this scrape as arcade, so then it should let us still download images and media for this game, in theory. RetroArch would load the system it was set to scrape as. Sure. Yeah, that makes sense, Stifilus. That's what I'm testing here. So yes, it does download stuff for this game. Let's go ahead and just do it. So scrape as is working in that sense. We don't have an emulator specified. Well, it should be interesting that when you change the platform, it resets the emulator. So I'm going to choose RetroArch. Or no, I'm going to choose MAME is what I'm going to choose, and we'll screw up the MAME emulator to be able to test this out. So now, let's manage our emulators, and for MAME, oops, not Huygen, MAME, associated platforms, we have arcade, and I'm going to add custom platform here. And I wonder, we might need to test this with RetroArch actually, but I don't have all those RetroArch cores. Yeah. I wonder though, like if we put in a bunch of crappy command line parameters that don't mean anything, I wonder if that'll mess MAME up. So that if it's loaded up with arcade, it'll error. If it's loaded up with custom platform, it'll work. That's my intention. That's what I want to check. Because this should load up with custom platform now. Oh, I know why. Because I'm in a different folder. So we'll fix that. Yeah, was I pointed to MAME UI or MAME? Yeah, it's MAME. All right. So this should work in theory. The ROM file is specified. Of course it doesn't. All right. Browse. We're looking for 1941U. 1941U. Oh, come on. There it is. Okay, it looks like it's... Yeah, I'm not sure. I think MAME started up and exited. Which would mean that, yeah, it's loading up the wrong platform. Let me go edit this emulator, and we'll remove this and put it down here instead. Looks like MAME is giving me trouble either way. Oh, great. Why? Well, let's put in a breakpoint, I guess. Where are we at? We start the game up. This is going to be in the game class data, game class play emulator. Go to that definition. All right. So we'll walk through this. We get our emulator, which is MAME, the application path, the ROM path. It exists. Parameters. This is where we match our platforms. Platforms match. The platform is custom platform. Custom platform. Command line is the weirdness. That's good. I think that's correct. So the parameters we end up with is this weirdness we plugged in, which is currently associated with that other one, with the custom platform. So if we go in and edit our emulator here and change this over and put that on arcade instead, it should come over with no with the default, which is autosave, I think. So now when we start this up, it matches the platform, custom platform, the command line. Uh-oh. What's going on there? Strange. All right, we got something wrong here. Yeah. I'm going to put a breakpoint on this and walk through it one more time. We'll get down here, and or it's calling localdb.platformsMatch. And first thing we're testing is arcade custom platform. Convert scrape as equals true. Here we go. All right. So yeah, that's our issue. We are converting the scrape as in this particular instance, and we shouldn't be. So it should be an easy fix. It's just a matter of for this particular situation where we go and we match the platforms, we put in false. Don't convert the scrape as. And that will be solved. Yay! I'll go through these comments here in a second, guys, once I confirm this is fixed. All right, so go to our custom platform, and then my emulator. Get out of here. Associated platform. So arcade is going to do this nonsense. Custom platform is not. We load up the game, and it sets the parameters to autosave. That's exactly what it should do. So we are fixed with that particular issue. Oh, and now MAME works. Look at that. That makes sense. Good. Good, good, good. Another bug fixed. Thank you, Requesto12. I have this fixed for the next beta, which should be out later today. Well, it's been a good, productive bug fixing day so far. It's awesome. Let's update the change log. Change log fixed. Scrape as platforms. We're using command line parameters for the original platform in the associated platforms for emulators instead of we're using let's see, as scrape as platforms, we're using the command line parameters for the scrape as platform and the associated platforms for emulators instead of the proper platform name. Confusing, but I don't know how to phrase that any more simple. All right. Nice. All right, let's catch up on some of these comments. Shades. I don't know if this is a setup problem on my end, but I'm wondering if anyone else here has this problem. I have some Atari 2600 bin files, and they play fine. When I get a good set of Atari 2600, all the games are zip, not bin, and they do not play. RetroArch. Stella doesn't read zip files. MAME is another option which has a RetroArch core. Hey John Croft, it's updated the latest beta. There is a bug where it's ignoring the, so games like The Forest is under F and The Witcher 3 is under W and not T. I've added the sort title to use the. That's on purpose, John. I've recently fixed that. We want it's supposed to be ignoring the. Although maybe I could add an option for that. JK, but couldn't you select all and choose extract all? Not sure if it extracts separate folders or just one, however. ME, Jason, did you check to fix the 0x0 resolution issue for DOS games? Yeah, I have that on my list, ME. Actually, there is a ticket in here for that. So we'll probably get there. I think I have that open in one of my tabs here. ViewBot. It doesn't really matter how he unpacks folders. Just go to the parent folder and choose startup bin, whatever, and then you select them all. Awesome. Hey ViewBot, welcome. Jason, a request. Any chance you could ask Brad to back a tutorial specifically on shaders? I think that's a great idea, Ali. I think Brad has gone over some stuff on shaders in some of the various tutorials. But yeah, I'd appreciate that. You're talking in RetroArch, right? I assume. Yeah, great to hear that, Emmy. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, let's move on. That's fixed. Big box cursor keeps reinitializing after you enter any mode or view. So, I think basically, I think I know what he means. In Big Box, we have an option to hide the cursor when it's not in use, and apparently it keeps showing back up, which might be easy to fix or might be awful. Let's give it a shot and see what we can do here. I'm with you there, Ali. Anytime I try and work with shaders, I end up giving up. I swear. I like. Well, not really. I mean, I like the. This is in my mind. There's two options. One is to have no blurring and just have hard pixels. I like that, but I like scan lines too, and I never can seem to get the scan lines looking great in RetroArch for some reason. All right, so under my options, under mouse, we're going to enable the mouse. Most people don't have this issue because they don't use a mouse in Big Box. It honestly doesn't work that great. It works, but it's kind of eh. So that's something I need to get back to. But hide mouse cursor when not in use. So right here, we move it around, and it should disappear after we stop using it for a while, and it does. It goes away. And then when you move the mouse, it shows back up. But what he's saying is when we switch a view, it shows back up all the time. So we go into arcade. Yep, there it is. And then it disappears. Go back, shows up, and then disappears. So, well, there's your problem. Let's take a look at that and see if we can figure out what on earth is causing that to happen. So in Big Box, first off, what's hiding the mouse cursor? I don't even remember. I built that functionality so long ago that I don't recall. If we take a look at under views, the main view, this is the main window that has everything inside of it. Do we have it in here? Yeah, handle mouse move. Well, sort of. Where are we hiding the mouse is the question. Is there anything in here? No. I'm gonna just throw crap to the wind and search for that. Okay, it's there. Handle mouse move in main view model. Okay. So we're using this mouse timer. A mouse timer elapsed is what I need. What? There it is. So we're setting the mouse dot override cursor equals cursors dot none. And this is just static. Gets or sets the cursor for the entire application. So and if we find all instances of this, the only place where we set it in 3 different spots, we set it there, and we set it on mouse move. So whenever you move the mouse, it automatically goes to arrow. And then also right here, initialize mouse. Sure. And this is only called, it calls an options. And then when we load up the main view model. So I have a feeling this is just a side effect of .NET that's showing it when we change the user control. So whenever we load up a new user control, I'm guessing we're going to have to set the mouse again to rehide it. Hopefully it doesn't flicker. That's what's tricky there. App.mouse. No. It's mouse.cursor. Override cursor. Here it is. Alright, so when we set the active view model, so we're going to go into the setter for active view model. And I think I don't know if oops. If program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.hide mouse cursor, then cursors.none, but that is going to happen after we change the view, which is going to be problematic, I'm afraid. But we'll find out. I don't know. We'll see how that works. John, drives my OCD crazy. Hope for an option so I can have my games under T again. Sure. If you can put in a ticket for that, John, I'd appreciate it. I think, yeah. Yeah, an option would be best. And we're going to need more options there eventually, too. Stiffilus, I use CRT, Geom, flat filter, and RetroArch. Looks good. I've never tried that one. That's cool. Looks better than just standard scan lines. Sure. First use LaunchBox for DOS. Got confused about 0.0 by 0. Good to know it's getting fixed and easier to change resolution. Yeah, yeah, I will look into that here soon. Hopefully, maybe even today, I'm thinking. Welcome back, JK. Okay, so let's load up Bitbucket again. Now that we're built, and hopefully we have our mouse. It hides. We go into arcade. Shows back up. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I don't know how to fix that stupid issue. I don't know why it's showing back up to begin with. Unless... Huh. Yeah, that stinks. What would cause that? I don't want to spend too long on this. The issue is that something, when you load up a new user control, it's not obeying this like it should. Mouse.override cursor. Changing the cursor in WPF sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. You gotta love that. Okay, that was supposedly the solution. Wonderful. Well, yeah. Maybe in each view we could do that, but that's going to be just out of curiosity though. In my Bootstrapper, which is run by Calibre and Micro, to pull up the view, we initialize the view component. We have several different options here as far as where we're doing this. So this is called anytime a view is created. Every single time this is called. So in theory, I could set the cursor in here to none. Var element equals element.cursor. Yeah, it's not going to be that simple. I don't think that's necessarily going to work. Yeah, I don't know. It's worth a shot, but I'm not too confident in that fix. Okay, we have a mouse. Disappears. We go into arcade. It shows right back up. And it goes away for a second if you see that, but then it shows back up again. So yes, still being overridden. Stupid thing. It seems to be happening, though. It's happening before even the new one is loaded up. Something is resetting that setting. Irritating. It disappears, and immediately when you press enter, it shows back up. What the heck? If we could figure out, I don't know, it might work if we can figure out to, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This isn't that big of an issue, so it's not something we really need to solve today. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a simple one. All right. So then why when we press enter is the mouse showing up? I don't. Oh, I bet I know why. I know exactly why. Aha! I bet mouse move is being called. Whenever a new thing loads up, I bet mouse move is being called. That's got to be it. So if, for example, I disable this and build, and we start up Big Box, I started it up on the wrong monitor. Darn it. But whatever. So the cursor disappears and then never shows back up when you move the mouse, which makes sense. But when we go into a different view, it doesn't show back up, which is exactly what we want. So what's going on here, I figured it out, is that handle mouse move, whenever you load up a new control, it calls handle mouse move once even when the mouse doesn't move, which is annoying. But that's the entire issue. So if we can figure out how to avoid that happening when you're first loading up a control, that would solve it. And I think it's worth that effort if we can figure that out. It's good to have that figured out, at least. So I think, you know, the question is how do we figure out whether a control is loading or not? I don't know. Handle mouse move. It's on preview mouse move. We could catch the previous location, and if the location didn't change, that's what we should do. So we have mouse event args, which has huh. How do I get the X and Y coordinates of the mouse? Get position. Okay. So e.get position, right? Relative to an input element. We're going to say app.mainView, which is the entire window. And I'm going to add a new, actually let's back up. This returns a point. So I need a point, private point, last mouse position. Back up here. And then if this dot last mouse position equals e.getPosition app.mainView, then we return and we ignore it because the mouse didn't really move. And afterwards we say this dot last mouse position equals e.getPosition. In theory, this little trickery here should solve it. We shall see. Okay, we have our mouse. It disappears. We go into arcade and we didn't have a mouse show up. And we move the mouse and it shows up. Bingo! That's a good one to solve. Killer. It is a good day. Okay, close this, close this. Resolve. Thank you, Quan. I have this fixed for the next beta, which should be out later today. Change. Boom. Let's go ahead and put that in the change log, because we should. I get tired of putting stuff in the change log all the time, but I should put everything in there. I usually put things in there. Fixed. The mouse cursor in Big Box was automatically showing back up when switching between views, and hide mouse cursor was enabled. Alright, get out of here. Alright, where are we at with comments here? Rocket launcher. Yes, it does. Nice loading screen when extracting ROMs. Makes settings for controllers and emulations easier. Emulators easier. Exiting an emulator becomes cleaner. Other small things. Bezels, global pause menu, compressed ROMs, custom fade in and fade out animations, multiple front ends. John. And only put the in there, and now it's back under T at least. Only issues is not in alphabetical order with other games that start with the, but it's better than nothing for now, I guess. Sure, there should be a way. If you, in the sort title, John, what you can do is you can put the name of the game after that, and that should solve it in theory. Bumberdiddle. No problem. Welcome. Emmy, I'm not fully following there. Maybe you should put an option to put games on T when they are The Witch, but on other games like The King of, but not. I assume you meant, but not on other games like The King of Fighters. I don't understand the difference there, really. Yeah. Sendai Brad has had Yeah, he's always been negative about Rocket Launcher. I had to tell him to stop that. Easy to switch disks with Rocket Launcher as well with multiple disc games. That's important too. When I do that, it puts The Witcher 3 under W. Or The Forest under F. Huh. Okay, well, I'll have to play with that, John, later. I know there's got to be a way to do it, but yeah, I'm not sure. Yes, Simply Austin is working on a Rocket Launcher tutorial for LaunchBox, so that's exciting. And I worked with him recently to um, come up with he helped me add the settings for the default emulator, the new default emulator for Rocket Launcher. So that's good too. All right. Next, what's next in our tickets? We fixed that. Okay, we've got this is reported by Ali. Are you on? Are you still here, Ali? Looks like you are. Video tab bug. How do you get this error? So this is a good error to fix for sure, but I couldn't reproduce it, Ali. So hit me up if you're still here, and let me know how you got this, where you were in LaunchBox or BigBox to make this happen. It's good to hear, John. Thank you. So, how'd you make this happen, Ali? Do you remember this video tab bug? Well, I will. You okay? Thank you. I'll link this to you here, so you can just click the link. There you go. So you look into that, and we'll get back to that one. All right, Anonymous, trying to download Clear Logo and high quality video for game. Received the following error. Same thing. We just resolved this. Thank you, Anonymous. This has been fixed for the latest for the next beta to be out later today. Big box exit game send to taskbar. I've seen this. I saw this ticket come in, and I have no clue what to do about this one. Always exit a game in Big Box mode will just show the taskbar of Windows. Have to click the Windows screen of Big Box to use it again. So frankly, there's nothing I can do to fix that issue. And obviously, it's some kind of weird configuration on his machine. Because I don't know how to solve that one. Anybody got any ideas before we move on from this one? For some reason, it's not refocusing Big Box when it's done. It could be a funky rocket launcher configuration that's not correct. It could be anything. I don't know. Could be the emulator even. But anybody else seen that before? Hyperspin download section has better quality clear logos than EmuMovies. Not sure why EmuMovies is not using the same clear logo sets. Oh, that stinks. I wonder why. Yeah, Cloud Kingdom, I don't have that issue either. So I have no idea why in this particular situation it's happening for this guy. And of course, it's an anonymous ticket, which is of course one of the main issues we have on Bitbucket is this guy most likely is never going to get back to here, because if I type back a response to him, he's never going to see it, because he's not going to get an email notification or anything. So, that's good to know, Stiflis. I'm not sure why that's happening. Maybe I should talk to Circo. What platforms have you tested, Syphilis? I don't even know what to say on this ticket. I'm not going to bother with it right now. This is interesting. Fan art files getting reordered, renamed when game is edited. So when you edit a game and press OK, apparently some of the fan art files are being renamed, which isn't really an issue, but it is for this guy. Every time I right click and edit, the fan art files for that game get reordered. So it's random, the order in which the images are loaded up or something like that. I'm not sure I want to solve that one right now, because that could be a really horrible, difficult bug to fix. It might be kind of annoying, and it's really not important. So I think we'll skip that one. PSX, okay. Okay, Ali. Now I remember, I forgot because it seems to fix itself soon after. When I was in options and I scrolled down to videos, it would give me an error. I remember it was just fixed soon after. So you're saying, Ali, you're saying the bug was that I already fixed the bug, or that it automatically fixed itself in the app or something? Does the bug still exist? Is it still something I need to fix? Okay. Well, it could be random. I mean, it could be a non-issue, or it could be still an issue. So it's something we should look into, I guess. Um, Guys, per Circo and the Clear logos, I know there's actually a thread that Circo started recently on the forums where he talks about all the Clear logos he's added. So that would be a good place to chime in and tell him what's going and talk to him to see if he can get a better quality stuff in there. I'm guessing what happened is that he just used a different set, because there's multiple sets available on the Hyperspin with the Hyperspin downloads. That's all I can figure. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to use the bathroom here real quick. Be right back. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay. So this bug. See if we can take a better look at this stack trace. I really wish Bitbucket didn't mess up my stack traces so that I've got to do this with all of them to actually read the stack trace. There are a number of things I'd really like to improve on with the bug reporting. That's for sure. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Yeah, Teddy. That's funny. All right. I can tell already this one's going to be tough to figure out. We might have to just skip over it because I'm not seeing any custom code in here at all. This is all Microsoft code. Goodness, it goes on forever too. Wow. What the heck? All right. System Windows Media. It's an update layout. Yeah, that's a terrible stack trace. Goodness sakes. I have no idea what to fix this, to be honest. So here's what we're going to do, Ali. We're going to close this out and hope that it was fixed because I don't have a good solution for this one. And if it comes back up, somebody will report it. So hoping this was fixed in a previous beta. I got nothing. Looking at that stack trace, nothing in there has anything to do with any of my code. It's all Microsoft code, so there's not much I can do about that. There probably is. There's probably a fix for it, but figuring out what to fix is impossible. No worries, Ali. Yeah, I did. I just can't follow that stack trace, unfortunately. So we're gonna hope it's fixed. Well, I'm glad my peeing performance is. I don't have a. I'm not going any farther there. What else did I miss? Anything in the comments here? No, that's it. Okay. Fan art files. Oh yeah. So we're gonna skip this one for now. Steam banner not importing. This one is probably something we should look at. When I click add game in the lower right of LaunchBox and then add a Steam game and then match a game to the LaunchBox games database and then download images media, it will say that along with the other images from the database, there's a Steam banner available. However, when I then have it download said images, the Steam banner never shows up with them. This is probably a glitch I introduced recently, actually. This doesn't happen, excuse me, when I import Steam games using the importer, but if I do that, I have to wait for it to process all my Steam games on my profile, so it's hardly ideal. Yeah, okay. 6.4, that makes sense. So let's give that a test. In my should I do this? Yeah, let's use my debug instance. All right. So I don't have any Windows games in here right now, any Steam games at all. We need to go ahead and import Steam games, I think. Let's just run through the wizard. I'm trying to remember. I think it's that. And I'm not gonna download anything right now. Good. Found all my games. Should be quick to import them without images. Okay, 180 games under Windows. Now, if we edit the game and download images and media, it should find a Steam banner in this list. And he's saying that the Steam banner isn't downloading. And he's right. It's not downloading. So let's take a look at that. David, it actually should work pretty well. It's not a pain anymore like it used to be. It depends on how picky you are. If you are really picky about which games you add and all that stuff, then it can be a pain. But if you look at my arcade collection right here, it's basically just a matter of using the default settings in the wizard for MAME. Obviously, you have lots of different. I mean, you have the option of using the Lightspeed MAME importer, which I think does have a bug right now, unfortunately. So you can review that thread on the forums. That gives you a lot more options, but you're also going to be playing with things a lot longer if you do that. So my recommendation is to use the built-in importer in LaunchBox right now. Just make sure you select MAME for the emulator, and arcade for the platform. Grab a complete set, import everything, and use the wizard and use all the default options, and you should be fine. Now that will eliminate stuff like you know, casino games, fruit games, all that stuff. So and you can check all that stuff out. You get the best results if you eliminate all that extra crap that nobody really wants, because you won't have you won't have all that extra junk. There is still a tiny bit of junk that does still come through that you have to go ahead and manually delete, but there's not a lot. And then I mean, some of the issues that you run into, for example, take Pac-Man for example. You're going to end up with Puck-Man and not Pac-Man. So Pac-Man is always something that you have to manually replace if you want Pac-Man, the North American version, instead of Puck-Man. Other than that, it usually does a pretty good job picking the North American releases. So you have issues with what version of a game do you want occasionally, but it's pretty straightforward for the most part. And when you come across a game that you have the wrong version of or something like that, you can just manually replace it. But it works pretty well overall. Anyways, where are we at? So downloading Steam banners. That's going to be in download images form. We're in German, but I don't think that matters. Hit the download button. Populate downloads. We have an issue with Steam banners. Steam banner image type row equals this.database data grid view.rows.cast. New Steam banner. Okay. Well, let's put a breakpoint on this. And see what happens. So we're going to download a Steam banner for Arkham Asylum. Download images media. That is true. Don't move the games out of your main folder. Or if you do move the game somewhere different than your main folder, you got to reconfigure MAME to point to the right folder is all. Basically OPAC, when I changed the last time I worked with this forum, I was taking a look at the German translation. So that's why it's in German. I went through every single one of those forums and reviewed every single field to make sure everything fit and resized everything, which is something I got to do with every single translation. And frankly, it's a pain in the rear. It took me 4 hours to pull that off when I went through all those forums. But obviously, for German users, it's important. I'm sure it's appreciated. So, but I'm going to have to do that now for the Italian translation and the Dutch translation too. But 4 hours is nothing compared to all the effort that you guys put in translating everything, so it's worth it. So we're going to select Steam Banner and click Download, and then it comes into Populate Downloads, and well, really, Steam banner. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. It's looking for the Steam banner row and not finding it. Null. Yep, I get it. All right, so the reason for it is because the title is Steam banner parentheses 1, not just Steam banner. Relatively easy to solve here. So instead of equals, we're just going to do starts with. That's all we need. However, I'm also noticing that there's no space between Steam banner and the parentheses. But that's well, here's the problem right here. Bingo. Solved. Nice and easy. Give it a run. Wake up, Visual Studio. There you go. Dang, this is a pretty productive day, guys. I'm pretty happy. We're going to have a good release tomorrow. Fixing a lot of these bugs. All right, so Batman Arkham Asylum, edit. Download images, media. We are going to uncheck everything. We have a nice space there in between Steam banner and parentheses 1. I'm only going to download the Steam banner. And it actually downloads the Steam banner now. Woot. There we go. Fixed. Sorry about that. Michael? I messed that up when I changed that dialog to support all the new image types and all that stuff. Thank you, Michael. This has been fixed for the next beta, which should be out later today. Boom. This one is so friggin' strange. BigBox requires multiple attempts at starting the program before responding. BigBox hangs for several seconds when switching out of settings back to systems. That's not strange. That's normal. It's saving the settings at that point. So on a slow system, that's certainly possible. BigBox requires multiple attempts at starting the program before responding. That makes no sense at all. So I told him to try reinstalling .NET. I didn't ask him about his. Oh, he did tell me his system specs, and they're decent, good system specs. So you got me. I don't know what to do about this one, honestly. Let's see. Oh, Emmy was trying to find an example. What I meant like 10 hours ago was like if a name is The Witcher, it will be going to T. If the name has a comma or another symbol after the, like The Witcher or The King of Fighters, it will go to W or K. I see. Sure. Sure. I think I'd rather we'd rather support just the regular titles. Well, really what we need is options in there to be able to do whatever people want. So that's what we'll end up running with, Emmy, I think. Thank you for explaining that, though. I appreciate it. I get it now. Viewbot. The hanging part kicks in at worst when LaunchBox is on a suspended hard disk drive. Ah, sure. Even worse when it is staggered spin up in BIOS. Sounds normal to me. Sure. That makes sense. So yeah, the hard drive, if the hard drive can't respond for a period of 3 or 4 seconds, that makes a lot of sense that it would hang up while it was spinning back up. Yep. As far as this weird requires multiple attempts at starting, though, I'm clueless, and he hasn't gotten back to me on this either. So skip that one. We'll move on. Nemesis from Chile. I'm reporting this error when I scrolled down to find a game in Big Box and I got an error. I also tried changing the logo for arcade with a different one, and it did not change in the main wheel where all systems and consoles are. When you go into arcade, you can see the new banner, but again, not the mail place. Following this stuff, impossible. Scrolling down to find a game in Big Box and I got an error. Okay, great, but we don't know what the error is, so that's useless. I also tried changing the logo for arcade with a different one. It did not change in the main wheel. Probably just need to refresh his images. Yeah. Hi, JM. Without an error here, an error listed here, we unfortunately can't solve this. The wheel image not updating is probably caused by just needing to refresh the big box image cache under big box options image cache. And we're going to mark this as invalid because I don't even have anything to go off of, so unfortunately it's a useless ticket. Alright. I sent Jason a title package. We wait until he updates the DB. Took me 4 days to set it up and search for info on every game. Wow, nice. That's what you mean. You've got a package for all the metadata. Okay, Stivolus. That's cool. That's great. Sure, Pac-Man. So, basically, we're just getting that metadata added to the LaunchBox Games database is what we're talking about here. So that's awesome. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I might be able to get at that today. Maybe not. I need to come up with an automated solution to quickly dump data into the LaunchBox Games database from my end. So I'll take a look at that. We'll see if I can wrap that up or not. Thank you, Syphilis, though. I appreciate that. All right, so we have a null reference here, and I've already looked into this. Just trying to get details from Anonymous again, and nobody's responding. And this was over a week ago. So in this case, when nobody gets back to me and I can't figure out the issue because nobody's giving me any details, I have no choice. I just got to mark the ticket invalid. Closing this ticket due to lack of follow-up and lack of details. I wish this is a bug that I would really like to get resolved, but I have yet to have somebody work with me on it and actually report this bug with more details. Because right now I can't find it. I can't find the bug, and without talking to somebody and having somebody get back to me on what they were doing at the time when it happened, and details like that, I can't replicate it. So sadly, another one I'm closing out because nobody's getting back to me. Slow load, very slow on switching games. Okay, again, I asked him to reinstall the .NET framework. He has a good system, and he's seeing stupid slow loading times and stupid slow everything, which doesn't make any sense at all. 2 minutes to get going, and then taking 30 seconds when you switch between like platforms. That's just weird. I don't understand why it's so slow. It should never be that slow, and we can't figure out why it's so slow for this guy. So I asked him to reinstall the latest framework. He hasn't gotten back to me though, so we'll leave that ticket open. This is in LaunchBox. Let's take a look at this image. And he's got full screen issues here. I think this is probably related to emulators changing resolution. We do still have an issue in LaunchBox itself, not in BigBox, but in LaunchBox. If your emulators change resolution, sometimes the maximize height of the LaunchBox window does not follow, and that's a bug I'd really love to fix. To be honest, I've been trying to fix that bug for a long time, but that's not something we're going to be able to tackle today because it's just been it's a nightmare, unfortunately. So it's something I'm gonna have to get back to later. One workaround for that is if you can set your emulators not to change the resolution and use your desktop resolution, then you never see that bug. But unfortunately, that's not always possible. DJ War, yesterday I was adding images to Arcade Double Dragon, but advert flyer was never showing. I found out LaunchBox after the name it was adding random numbers. That was the reason it was not recognized. What on earth? That's a new one, DJ War. Huh. That's odd. If you can create a ticket for me on that, DJ War, with as many details as possible and like steps to reproduce it, I would really appreciate that. That one's going to be tough to solve. So the more details you can get me on that, the better. If you can reproduce it, especially, I'd really appreciate steps. Pac-Man, yes, there is indeed a way to force Bitbucket people to log in, and Brad was crying for that over and over and over again. But here's the thing: if I force somebody to log in, I'm going to get probably half the tickets that I currently get because people are going to go to report the issue and then notice that they have got to register and they're going to say, ah, screw it, and close down the window. So as much as I wish I could do that, it's more important to me to get more of these issues reported than even if people never show up and never get back to me. I already request that people create a registration, but I just know if we require people to register, we're going to get screwed out of a bunch of tickets. So unfortunately, I haven't done that. Thank you, DJ War. I really appreciate that. I think that sounds like an important bug to fix. All right, so we're going to close that one out. That's not something I'm going to be able to tackle today. Periods in between brackets, breaks, LaunchBox ignoring what's inside. I've seen this before, all right? So this is something we need to test. In my to-do list, I have an example here. This Lagrange point, supposedly it's breaking when you import that particular file. And that's when I haven't tested that yet. Let's go ahead and do that. If you go to the website DJ War and click in the header, there's an option for feature request or bug report, something like that in the top menu. Just click that link and it'll take you there. Or I could just paste you a link. If you got it, you're all right. So I need to create a ROM with this name. Obviously, it's for NES. Let's just put it on the desktop. I'm going to just do a new text document that's called this file name here. And we'll try importing it and see what happens. Okay, Cranhill managed to stop screen flicker. Go to options on the Twitch screen and player options, video quality from the drop down to select source. This seems to have fixed it for me. Interesting. That's cool. Thank you, Cranhill. Yeah, Emmy made a Bitbucket account, but I didn't want to. I'd be in the same boat. Yep. All right, so I'm going to go into NES and remove all my NES games so we can see this game come through. Make sure I'm on my dev instance and not my official instance. All right, and then I'm going to go and drag this file over, which is this Lagrange point. It's a ROM file, and it's Nintendo Entertainment System. It's using RetroArch, which is fine. Use it in the current location. Yes. It's fine. It's fine. Fine. It finds it. It's called Lagrange point. Seems fine. Finish. Searching EmuMovies for all this stuff. It seems like it worked. Yeah, it worked. Unless the images, we only got 2 images on there. We do have a video though. Now that's annoying since we stopped that video. I don't understand because I've had this issue reported by quite a few people, like 3 or 4 or 5 people, where certain file names are supposedly causing problems, but for whatever reason, I've never been able to replicate it. It always works for me when I use the same file names. It's probably that somebody's using a different setting on import. Somebody is likely doing something on import differently than I am, but figuring out what they're doing is hard. But Brad has even seen this issue before, and Brad's tried to help me replicate it, but I still haven't been able to replicate it. So I don't know. We'll move on from this for now. That's good to know. So the flickering thing, apparently, the solution, options in the Twitch screen and player options, video quality, select source. Interesting. All right. I'll try to remember that. All right. So sound in Big Box sometimes stutters. Don't have a good solution for this immediately. I'm going to have to come back to it and really work on it. It's going to take me a long time to try and solve that problem. How many of you guys, when you work in Big Box, have issues with the sound stuttering? It used to be a lot worse than it is now, and it doesn't happen for me very often at all. But is it happening commonly for you guys, or is it not really happening much? The background video still errors. Okay. Okay, 6.4 beta. Seems to be working smoothly without crashes now, but there are still no background videos. I checked VLC and Windows Media Player. I also downloaded a separate new copy of LaunchBox. Added 1 game, 1 video, but no background videos. Yeah, this is puzzling. That's good, John. Thank you. Wow. Well, that's really good to hear, guys. Nobody's having any. Ah, sound stuttering used to be an issue. Haven't had it for a while now. That's really great to hear. Good. Woot. Oh, is there any way to make Big Box appear on another screen? Opaque? Yeah. So Emmy has a shortcut key for you. That works. The other thing is that you can do is you can open it from an icon on the screen you want to use it on. That works as well usually. However, that's on my list. We need a proper feature to be able to remember whatever screen you want Big Box on. So that is definitely something that's high priority for sure. Sure. It right now, at least for me, when in my testing, it does happen, but very rarely. So it used to happen all the time though when I had the priorities out of whack. So it's improved at least. VLC specifically. Okay, sure. Yeah, we fixed all that stuff for the most part. Anyways, so Derek here shouldn't be any specific system requirements that I know of. I don't know. It's really odd that it's happening with both the VLC and the Windows Media Player engines. The only thing I can think of is that maybe there's some sort of strange window focus issue. The videos won't play unless Big Box thinks it has the focus in the app. Did he say what version of Windows he's running? Windows 10 Home. So an outdated version of Windows is not the problem. Shouldn't be any specific system requirements that I know. It's really odd that's happening with both the VLC and Windows Media Player engines. The only thing I can think of is that maybe there's some sort of strange window focus issue. The videos won't play unless Big Box thinks it has the focus in the app. And it sounds like you might be seeing that. But other than that, I'm still clueless, unfortunately. Do the videos... I assume the videos work properly in regular mode, work properly when they're not in the background. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty strange. He's the only guy reporting this issue. For some reason, he can't get background videos to work no matter what he does. And I don't understand it. Anyways. Configuration system failed to initialize. Fatal error upon launch. We're getting to some pretty old tickets now. It's still only, I mean, it's less than a month old, but it's on 6.2. Running app and all files off the USB stick. Yeah, so he's running off a USB stick, which I certainly don't recommend. But Okay. I'm wondering if it's the available instruction sets on the HP Mini Stream CPU. Weird. Huh. So yeah, this is old, slow stuff. Or it might not be old, but it's doesn't look like it's sold anymore. So it's a really underpowered machine. Pretty strange, nonetheless. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. I hate to say it, but I'm curious if a reinstall of Windows would fix it. Though I doubt that's something you're going to want to do. All right. There it is. So that's the first page of bugs. We still have a half hour left in the stream. Let's see if we got anything else we can do, bug fixes wise. I don't want to add any new features that are going to require new strings for the translators today, so just kind of want to keep fixing things as best we can for this release. Let's go ahead and reload this. Where we're at, see where we're at here. This is a, I can close that one out. Okay. Yeah, so this has been resolved. Thank you guys. This has been fixed for the next beta to be out later today. Same error. Okay. We got another null reference exception. Another selection change timer elapsed. And this is from ages ago. There's no way he's going to get back to me on this ticket. And it's the same bug that I can't seem to figure out and I need more details on. So I'm just going to thank you, Anonymous. Hit me up with more details if you can. If you ever get back to this ticket. I'm having trouble reproducing this problem and need as many details as you can get to me. Eventually, someday, this issue is going to be reported by somebody who creates an account, and we can work together on fixing it with, I don't know. Images in list disappear. After trying to zoom out until I had 3 rows of big front images, and then zooming way back until I had about 8 rows or so, all images disappeared. I only saw the gray shadow when I mouse over the items, After I restarted LaunchBox, the image sizes were normal again and the image is visible. Cleanup images did nothing. The problem is reproducible. After trying to zoom out, or zoom in, until I had 3 rows, and then zooming way back until I had about 8 rows, all images disappeared. Yeah, that's not valid, Brad. Alright. Well, let's see what we can reproduce that. That's a weird one. DOS76, I'm listening to this while trying to configure my Logitech G27 to work in Sega Model 2, but having issues. Anyone have a setup and running in good cohesion with LaunchBox? Sure. I would love to have a Logitech G27. I don't have one. So I haven't tried DOS. Alright, so let's load up a platform that has images. Nintendo Wii. He's saying zoom in, then zoom way back. Ha 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 ha. I see. So perhaps the issue is caused by holding down that shortcut key or something like that. You know what, though? It could just be... It has to regenerate the image cache when you resize the images. So it's probably just getting caught up, honestly. Question is it going to come back eventually? The other thing is, this is not going to be... If this is actually a problem, this is not going to be an easy one to solve. So... Probably not something we're going to tackle in the next 20 minutes. Yeah, see, they come back. It just takes a while. And the reason for that is because it's queuing up. Every time you resize, it's queuing up images to resize to and all this stuff. So we're just really making it, we're taxing it. So there's definitely improvements I could make to speed that up, make that better. But that's not something I'm going to be doing quick. So let's move on from that. Clear logo. Hello, I used your MAME software and created Cave, Zinc, and PGM. I can't add the clear logo to the wheel, and I've tried everything that I can think of. Any suggestion? Okay, thanks. Wow, I'm not following this. Can't add the clear logo to the wheel, and I've tried everything I can think of. Got the ones from Hyperspin. Hi, James. I'm guessing that maybe you just need to refresh the cache after adding these images manually. If you go in Big Box to Options, Image Cache, there you can refresh all of the images. Try that and see. I'm guessing that will fix the issue for you. If not, let me know and we can reopen this ticket. It sure sounds like it just he doesn't know about the image cache thing. Is when you manually add images to the folders, you have to refresh the cache. I'm going to mark this invalid. I'm 90% sure that's what's going on there. LaunchBox force closing, not responding a lot. I'm having a problem where whenever I search platforms or even scroll down my games too fast, LaunchBox stops responding, and sometimes force closes. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. But I've got nothing to work off of, so nothing I can do about that. Sure, DOS. That makes sense. Using Lightspeed to add MAME ROMs. Yeah. What is 1091? Is that what we were just looking at? 1091, yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, nobody's going to get back to me on this issue. I'm almost positive. So here's what we're going to do. Hi, Anonymous. Hit me up if you're still having this issue with the latest 6.7 betas, and we can work through it. Of course, I can't replicate it, so I'll need more details and your help to work through it together. All right. Aha. Looks like something we might be able to fix. Progress bar. Download metadata. All right. At set maximum in download metadata form. Download progress changed. Seems feasible to fix. I don't know, but man, Anonymous is annoying. I'll tell you that, OPAC. All right. So this should be really easy to solve, I think. In forms, download metadata form. Client download progress changed. Right here. All we really need to do is -1 probably means invalid or something like that. We're setting, okay, not valid for maximum. Maximum must be greater than or equal to 0. So we're setting the maximum equals -1. So for some reason it errored and returned. All right, so if e.total bytes to receive is less than 0, then this .progress bar .maximum equals 0. Otherwise, like that. The value then we could have something similar. So if e.bytes received is greater than this.progressBar.maximum or e.bytes received is less than this.progressBar.minimum, and this.progressBar.value equals 0. Otherwise, we do that. That should just handle some invalid scenario things that shouldn't hardly ever happen, but when they do, at least now you won't get an ugly crash. Resolve. Thank you, Anonymous. This has been fixed for the next beta to be released later today. Good to hear, OPEC. All right, next. While using Bitbucket and selecting a game, sometimes the video in the game details continues to play with audio after the emulator in the game has started running. This should be fixed. I'm almost positive this is fixed. Hopefully nobody's seeing this issue anymore. We do have one thing noted recently with the latest versions that for some reason when you exit out of a platform, the video is still playing. That was on my list, but that wasn't in through a ticket. That came in through the forums. But I haven't, as far as I know, let me know if anybody in the stream is still experiencing the issue with the VLC engine where you play a game and the video continues playing in the background. Hopefully that never happens anymore. I think I've resolved that. I'm going to mark this as done. Speak up if anybody's still seeing it, though. Thank you, Anonymous. This was fixed with a previous beta. Can't update video for a single game because video is loaded even if not running. Yeah, this is already fixed. Thank you, Martin. This was... I just fixed this for the next beta to be released later today. It's a good thing that I fixed that bug because we're getting lots of reports on that bug, aren't we? Makes sense. Fails when attempting to add a new platform. Platform defaults are no longer showing. I attempt to give the platform a name, then attach an image of the console since it's blank. Then I am greeted with a crash error as follows. I think I fixed this previously. But let's try it. Let's see if we can... Let's just make sure that it works to immediately add an image. So we're going to go to manage no, not emulators. Manage platforms. We're going to add a new one. He called it NES, so we'll go ahead and do the same. It does automatically detect Nintendo Entertainment System. Of course, this is new. All this stuff is new since he added this ticket way back in June. So I doubt any of this is still an issue, but we'll find out. So do I have any images on my desktop? Yeah, just use that guy. And he was trying, what type of image was he trying to add? An image of the console. So device, press OK, no errors. If I load up this again, we get the banner showing up, the clear logo, and we have our device. So yeah, if it must be fixed because I had already revamped that stuff quite a bit. And I remember fixing a similar bug elsewhere, so I'm pretty sure this is resolved. Thanks, Anonymous. I believe this was fixed in a previous release. Mouse clicking on the wheel. When I'm clicking a game that's not highlighted on any wheel view, that game will be highlighted, but none of its backgrounds, music, etc. will show. I believe I fixed this a long time ago. This is an old ticket, I think. Yeah, June 23rd. Let's confirm that I fixed it. But so I think it was for really it should be all of them. Nintendo Wii, there we go. Switch the view up here, make sure it's working for this as well. Uh-oh. That's still an issue. Look at that. We fixed it for platforms, but we didn't fix it for games. Okay. I'll have to take a look at what I did for platforms on that. I'm not sure how difficult this one's going to be. Most people don't use the mouse in Big Box, but it should work when you do, I guess. Let's one thing I have wanted to do on my full-size upright arcade cabinet, I have a trackball that I use, and it just would be nice if you could use the wheel with the trackball properly instead of using, having a mouse cursor, and then have the trackball actually work or the mouse actually work just to select things as you go, rather than have a mouse cursor. I think that would be a better solution. So that's something I'm considering adding an option for at some point. All right, so this is going to be in. Let's take a look at how it's done right now. This is in platform. Wheel, filters, view model, base, and how am I handling this? If I take a look at the view itself, this is under themed views. We take a look at platform wheel, one of these, the cover flow control. We're not doing anything special here. I don't know how I'm even doing this to begin with, to be honest. But we're doing it somehow, so we ought to be able to find it. So on clicking that guy, let's check the main view model. Mouse button. Okay, that handles the escape. Handle mouse. Handle key down. Is there a click? Nope. Where am I doing this? Where am I doing this? There's a double click somewhere. What about in the main view itself? Wow. Of course, I have a difficult thing to tackle right at the end of the stream. It's always how it works. It's okay. It should be easy once I find it. I just got to find where on earth I've got mouse code for the clicking. I'm not sure. The main view itself. Yeah, I don't know. It might be key down. No. Do I have button anywhere in here? Joystick button held, joystick button. Of course, it's all over this method. Yeah. That's not feasible. Where am I even doing this? Clicking on the cover flow. I have a feeling. Oh. My cover flow control itself. My flow control. So I remember how I did this, sort of. So mouse, viewport mouse down. Here we go. So we're updating the index. I think I used an event or something. Index updated from mouse.invoke. Here we are. So event handler index updated from mouse. This is how I fixed it. Populate. Go to definition. There it is. So in our games lists, this is really only, well, no, it's an issue for all of the various view models for games, all the various games view models that use the cover flow control. Let's start with the wheel games view model. And first off, I don't need that. Don't need that. Where are we setting this? This is in populate. Once we get our flow control. I don't think we have a populate command or populate method. We are wherever we're populating it. I think it's an init. Now we already do have this. Index updated from mouse. Okay. This dot selected game equals. Well, what is going on there? All right, let's do some more testing here. All right. I'm on the wrong screen. Oh, but I should be able to do this. No, I don't want to start up a game. There it is. Okay. Now the issue. Using the mouse. It's not updating it in this view. Doesn't really matter in this view because there's nothing. Yeah, that's working in this view. It's working in this view as well. Okay. And then this should work fine as well, yeah. Of course this is going to work. So it's only the wheel view. So something I'm doing in the wheel view is not working properly. Let's I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to drag my code over here and attach to it and see if I can debug it real quick. So this index updated from mouse in the wheel games view model. Back up, go into arcade. Yeah, it's not calling index updated from mouse. Interesting. 2 references. Wonder if that's even working. Let's back out of this. Go back in. Yeah, so I think what's happening is that I'm missing that code in this. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. Easy solution. Show you guys what's going on here. So I added it to this init method, but for the one for platforms I didn't add it to. Just missing these 2 lines of code right here. So easy fix. Yay hey. Just need those 2 lines of code. Under flow control, if not equal to null, we add that. Excuse me, add that right there, and it's fixed. God bless, Elo. Take it easy. Thanks for joining. All right. We are built. Let's give it another run. Thank you, Teddy. Take it easy. Have a good night. So we go into arcade, and now in theory, bingo. Problem solved. Feels good to end this stream, guys, with a positive result. Fixed a bunch of bugs, so I'm pretty happy. That's great. Let me follow up on this. Resolve. Thank you, Quan. Just fixed this. If I could type, just fixed this for the next beta to be out later today. And done. Yeah, man. Good deal. So thank you, guys. I'll have, like I said, I'll have a beta out later today, which should be the final beta before the official release tomorrow, and we'll be moving on to bigger and better stuff next week and later this week and all that stuff. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys on Monday at 9:30 a.m. PST, just like every other week. Yep. Thank you, guys. Hey, Jaggerroll. Sorry. Sorry you're just joining. Thank you, guys. Take it easy. Have a good day, good night, whatever time it is for you guys. Later.